Good evening. Welcome to the Plastic Crack Podcast, Season 4, Episode 1.
Oh, you got it right.
Why are we still here?
Is that what the title is? Why are we still here?
We've actually come back. Jesus. Dom, this is only meant to be like me and you hanging out for a little bit. Yeah. No, it's great. It's great to be back. Great to have everybody here on this lovely new year. Let's hope this new year brings you crackiness and happiness. That's all I'm going to say.
You've been thinking about that for a while, haven't you?
Yeah. I did. It just popped in my head. So, yes, I realised yesterday that was my last birthday I'm ever going to have without being married, which is even weirder. It's kind of getting depressing, so I actually am getting married this year now.
How old were you yesterday?
32. I had to think about that.
You had to think about that. That's worrying.
Yeah, I did have to think. Yeah, I did have to think about that. Yeah, 32. So yeah, I'm getting on.
Baby.
I'm drinking. What's this?
I can't believe what you're drinking, Ken. Really?
Toffee apple vodka. It was a present for Christmas.
We discovered the stream goes a lot better when we drink. So we're going to drink.
Yeah. So just so we get stuff clear. So this is the new season. So did I manage to do a news intro this year? We'll have to wait and find out. Probably not. But there we go. So tonight we're gonna. Yeah, I didn't think you'd like that very much. It looked a bit dark. It looks like Guinness. We're already going off topic.
Feeling unresponsive and a little crazy, then check out the subtle undertones of this ruby ale to perk you up.
Oh,
yeah, we're already going off topic as per usual.
This is what I'm consuming tonight. A bit of Trooper IPA. That's my tipple for tonight.
I want to swap.
I will say just before we carry on, just quickly, we're going to talk retro, 80s and 90s. We're not talking 60s and 70s because that is just archaic. And that's another episode on its own. So that's why we're not talking 60s and 70s.
We do the 60s and 70s. The numbers can remember it that far back if we were alive.
Yeah. So we will do that at some point. But as Martin was saying about that drink, you were telling an interesting fact about that band. You said they can't be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm intrigued.
No, Maiden. No. Iron Maiden, because he's drinking the Iron Maiden. No, Iron Maiden got snubbed by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they're just never any problem. But Royal Mail are currently going to do the stamp thing,
yes,
stamp collection for Iron Maiden. So you can have Eddie, you can slap Eddie on your letters, which I'm going to do. I'm going to do for all of my work mail. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, so yeah, no, Iron Maiden weren't inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so, there we go.
Everything medieval.
Yeah, it's post medieval, indeed post medieval.
I nearly took a photo for that.
We got so retro gaming. Does that mean Dom is going back to the DBM and related game? You can't even be talking about that.
Where's my yellow card? Hang on. Yellow card, straight away for that one. First yellow card of the series goes. There you go. Talking about DBM. No, can I swear yet?
Yeah, no, not yet. Paul, you've already got a yellow card, and we're like 5 minutes in. Well done. So guys, how was your Christmas and New Year? I just for the viewers, I know how it was. Mine, how was yours?
I spent my Christmas under a blanket, shivering, waiting for death. Yeah, it wasn't very fun. No, it wasn't great. I wasn't very well, and because I was still getting over the pneumonia, I took a double kicking, so I got to try out all sorts of new antibiotics, which was a lot of fun. And I didn't pick up a paintbrush until Saturday just gone, so that was fun. Because I put that battle report out, and that battle report is when I started feeling rough, and you can hear it in the battle report. I start coughing. Yeah, I had to edit out so much coughing and me just going, and hey, like, are you all right there?
You okay, Martin? Yeah,
like that.
Oh, so. Just want to remember, thank you very much if you're joining us on the replay.
Hey,
I didn't forget. No, I did not forget.
So that's how I felt. Now ask Steve.
Yeah, Steve, how was yours?
I felt like crap for 2 weeks. This is what happens when this is what happens when you mingle with people. I spent Christmas Day with my family.
Steve, that was stupid. Why did you do that?
3 days later.
Why would you think that Christmas was a good idea to mingle with people?
It just came on all of a sudden, though. And then I was only in work 2 days over Christmas, but I felt so rough. And then I've tried to kill it since then with a combination of Beechams and alcohol.
Yeah.
The cough's gone, so I no longer sound like Bob Fleming from the Fast Show. But my head still feels like it's just been jam-packed full of cotton wool. And I had all my plans laid out. I had plans over Christmas. I was going to paint.
Your helicopter turned up?
My helicopter turned up. Martin's Arthurian Romano Brits turned up. My giant turned up. And I had so many plans. And I spent the entire time on the couch feeling very, very sorry for myself.
See, there you go, Steve. Conclusive proof that not only does Rubicon do your mind in with all the bits, it also gives you a really nasty cold.
No.
I'm telling you
that's just a coincidence. Tell you what,
no, it's true.
I was going to send you a couple of pictures of the instruction book for that series. My God,
what was it? What was it? An A4 that required you needed a bookmark in there. Just
no, you can make it. I think it's 6 or 8 variants of this of this Huey.
Can you do the medic version? Can you do them?
Yeah, it's stacked up with stretchers. There's lots of search and rescue ones, a standard combat one. You've got
rumor has it there's like 500 pieces just to make the door frame. Apparently,
so all I've done so
rumor
far
is fact
is I've got 3 crew ready to paint, and that's when I started feeling a bit rough after that. But it's an absolutely lovely kit. It's gonna take me a while. I'm building it because I'm doing the full painted interior, and just another thing. Yes, I did it. I watched Fury.
Yes, I was gonna ask you about that. How was it?
As I said, 2 out of 10, because
that much. I'm impressed.
I mean, visually, it looks good. It's
on the way.
It's just a good film. And then I mentioned this in the Facebook group. It's one thing that got me from the first film. So at some point, Brad Pitt, War Daddy, or whatever his bloody name is, says he's seen these men through from North Africa, and he's gonna get them through the war. So what does he do? He does a complete and utter meaningless, pointless last stand when he could have hauled arse out of there and not got killed. But I just no. Just and like I said, and most of the people in the film were thoroughly unlikable people. I didn't give a shit whether they got killed or not. I really didn't. There was no empathy from this viewer, and I certainly wasn't. I mean, okay. The end of Gladiator. You tear up. It's a very tearful film at the end when he's going back. Anyone that cries at the end of Fury. No. But I watched it, and I suffered, and I got through it. And I watched Alien. I watched Alien straight after. It's like a palate cleanser.
They've just started casting for the Gladiator sequel. I'm not joking.
Oh
no!
Well, who's going to be Warrior Princess this time?
Hey?
You never know.
I do know. What I think is funny is that people are like, "Oh, is Russell Crowe going to appear in flashbacks?" Like, it's about 30 years ago he filmed that, isn't it? He looks a little bit different now.
He's really enjoyed his life. I'm not sure he's going to be perfect for that role anymore.
No.
It's a good job.
I mean, good on him. He really has enjoyed himself. So fantastic.
Yes. It's just a tad, but. No, so you did Fury. So you went.
Yeah, I didn't paint. All this arrived, which is my.
Oh yeah, you're giant. Yeah.
I underestimated just how big this thing is. I thought it was going to be half the size. It's massive.
Huge.
Look.
It is a giant.
Size of that.
It looks like Action Man size.
Don't you just think it looks like Mick Jagger and he's lost his hairpiece?
I thought it looked like Steve once he had that prosecco in Derby.
Careful now. I know. Steve said it looks like the tall man from the Phantasm films. You play a good game, boy.
Oh dear.
Well, what about you, Dom?
I'm sorry to get the average down, but I actually had a brilliant Christmas. Really good, thank you. Very enjoyable.
Can we yellow card Dom for being happy?
No major illnesses that I'm aware of so far. So yeah, it was all good.
Well, so you've got away with it. You haven't had the cold of death.
I've had a cold for months, so yeah, it's probably me that gave it to you last time we saw you. But no, I just a cold, really. Just a cold, not even man flu. I can't even claim that. So no, we had a nice time. Girls came round for Christmas, and we had a nice, easy Christmas day, and then we went away for New Year. So it's lovely.
Oh, it's all right for some, isn't it?
And now we're back, so it's all fantastic.
Did you get much done, Dom?
I got quite a lot of painting done. Actually, more painting than I normally do. To be fair,
it's been a while. It has been a while.
I don't usually do much over Christmas painting wise because I paint on the living room table, and for some reason they want to do Christmas dinner and things on that. I mean, go figure. Yeah, but this time I did, so it was got a reasonable amount done. So I'm quite pleased with my hobby output. And
excellent.
Only thing is, I didn't get any games in because somebody was supposed to come around and cried off, didn't they? And then we went back to the club on Friday.
Yeah,
we were going to have a game.
I called you.
He called me and he said, "Oh, we're playing." And I said, "Yeah, we're going to have a General Dame game, Jono and I." And you're welcome to join. He said, "Yeah, what time?" I said, 6:30. I'll be there at 6:30. He said, "Oh, I'll be there." 7:00 came, 7:30. And I thought, that's weird. He's usually here on time. So I sent him a message saying, "Ken, where are you?" "Oh, FFF. I'm sitting here watching a film on telly. I forgot."
I forgot it was Friday. Bad, isn't it?
Ken, if I was you, I'd stay off that funny vodka. It does strange things to your brain.
I was so pissed off because I was looking forward to that. General Dame.
You know what? It was an absolutely sensational game. You missed
exactly. That's what I mean. It always is with that. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So annoyed as well. It was a shitty film I was watching as well.
First night of the club again, and you blew it.
I'm not a member because I haven't paid me. I haven't paid
your subs. It was even free for the night. So that was that. So yeah, I had a good. It's been Christmas. It's been good. I hope everyone else had a good Christmas. What about you, Ken? Did you, apart from worrying about your age and getting married, anything else?
It was average, I would say, for in things because I thought I had COVID for a little bit. Well, I don't know if I did or I didn't because I only tested positive for one day. But I don't know if it was just a dodgy test or what. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice seeing like the family and things like that. But got some nice stuff. Didn't really get a lot of hobby done because I had to go back to work for the 3 days in between, which was even more frustrating. I ended up going to really random places like West London and Croydon, which is really fun. Yeah, Croydon. Go figure. And where else did I go? Somewhere in Kent. I can't remember where it was. So Hive or something like that in Kent. It's miles away. But yeah, definitely not just 5 minutes away from my house, which was really frustrating. So yeah, I'm remembering to book those 3 days off next year. But yeah, birthday's just gone. 32. Christ.
Must be awful. 32.
Terrible.
I do feel old. I know you guys take the piss, but I feel old.
You look old. Yeah, you do. You look absolutely haggard, mate.
Thanks. Thanks. I've been getting good night's sleeps as well. But yeah, I still look haggard. Excellent. At least I know something's working. Fucking hell. I'm either dying of something. I have no idea what it is. Or I'm just, I don't know. I'm just
donate your body to medical science, and then we'll all know what it was. That's fine.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I've got boxes older than Ken. Jesus.
Don's probably still wearing them.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realised I actually took a photo of what I did. Hang on. I actually went to the effort of taking a photo today, even though I had to unplug everything. Hang on. Don, right, you might like this. So on Saturday, I thought, because everything, do you remember I said before Christmas I'm working on multiple big things at the minute and nothing is finished? I was still in the same position. I was like, no, I need something to show. So I painted
Oh,
the musket.
Oh, nice.
That was the one you got from what was the Eagle?
Yeah, from where the hell did we go?
Warfare.
Warfare. To the airport. Yeah, that was the one he put together special for me to
nice.
for the French-Indian War. So yeah,
that's a big ass cannon, isn't it? Jeez.
It is. I sat there looking at it for ages, going, "Is this out of scale?" Then I went and looked at some pictures and like oh no, that's right.
Oh no, that's correct. I mean, that's just a big.
No, I had a lot of fun with that and sort of just basing it up. I decided not to stick because muskets and tomahawks you can take out the crew. So basically, I'm fed up in muskets and tomahawks of getting annihilated by it because my opponent always just has a cannon. He always has a cannon without fail, and I sort of poo-pooed how good they were because on paper I thought they looked quite crap. But it's the fear of the cannon that
they don't fire more than a couple of times a game, but if they connect, you are in serious trouble.
Yeah, well, this is the problem, you see, because he's playing British and I played French and French Canadians. So I've got a couple of units in close order, and of course he's got close order troops, and I'm sitting there going, why haven't I got a cannon? He's got lines of close order troops. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun to do actually. Why isn't it exploding? Because Robin isn't in charge of it. Unless you watch that last game we played where I found out that rule in Pike and Shot, which I was unaware of. But I am working currently because I've got loads of things that I'm doing, but these are one of them. Dom, you'll like these. I think I sent you this. But
that does look great.
He's gonna, as someone pointed out,
grey on night, doesn't it?
Yeah, he does. He's he's chosen wisely. So I am working on a bunch of these at the moment from our
favourite people.
Because why the hell not? So that's a lot of fun. I've got to say,
is that continuing part of your Crusader stuff? Is it?
Yeah. Well, he produced them as early military orders, right? So they're meant to be about 1120, 1130, and he said so they could be early Templars. They can be like. I've just decided that they're just a set of knights. I've gone with you can't really see it on this one, but I've kind of gone with a quartered livery because in Kingdom of Heaven, I quite like the livery color, the Iblis, where he's got the quarters with the cross that's like multiple. I just like that. So I thought I'll try a variation on that. And my idea is that this unit of knights is just basically one lord who's sold off all his land, equipped 8 of his best mates, and they're off on crusade. Nice. The equipment it hasn't changed that much in that period. Actually, it's barely changed at all. So that's sort of work in progress.
Is that printed, Martin, from your printer? Is it?
He is. Yeah. That's printed. That one.
Drink, everyone.
I was waiting to see it. But I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink my numb nuts ruby ale. It tastes like nuts. Oh, it's made by a cheese company.
Oh, well, there you go then. Why do you buy beer?
The
made by
cheese company. So that was a lot of fun. I've got him. You might have something turning up for you, Dom. So don't order them.
Oh God! Oh God! I'm in a rabbit warren at the moment for all the different types of medieval armor, trying to work out which ones I can get away with what period. Because I was saying to you, Martin, wasn't I, on the over Messenger?
Yeah.
I happened upon a video that I just had never heard of, which was the Bruce's invasion, or the Scottish invasion of Ireland after Bannockburn. I'd never heard of that. Never heard of it at all. And it's just made me go, there's an interesting period to fight. I mean, who wouldn't like it? You got knights and bowmen and crossbowmen against Gilgals and Irish peasants.
Gallow glass.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I'm gonna take it that it didn't go well for the Scots, just judging on.
No, it didn't in the end. Although the war went on for 3 years, and Robert Bruce's brother, whose name I I've forgotten what name it is now. He actually was. Yeah, he was named High King of Ireland. So he was actually the last High King of Ireland. Was a Bruce? Was a Scot? There you go.
Yeah. Is this because the English because Longshanks would have been dead at this point, right?
Yeah.
So Edward II was too busy fighting.
Yeah,
he was too busy fighting his wife.
No, it was Edward. That's it. Thank you, Martin. It was Edward. Edward Bruce was his name. Basically what happened was Bruce, after Bannockburn, he invaded England and he wanted to open up a second front. And so he moved into Ireland and tried to unify Ireland under Scotland because that's the way it was. And he pretty much conquered all of Ulster and then started to get down to Dublin. But the old problem of an invader in those days hit. I didn't have any siege engines or anything like that. And then starvation hit and they withdrew back up to the north again. And then finally were defeated and he was killed. But there you go. It was a really interesting period. So I've never heard of it before. So I'm now looking through my collection thinking,
what can I use?
Then what period do I do? What, army list do I use?
Anyway. No.
Yeah, no. So I'm thinking, can I use my Baron Wars figures for it? Because they're not really being used.
Yeah,
they're a bit late. They're a bit later, but
are they? They're earlier, aren't they?
12 something, isn't it? Baron Wars.
Well,
later.
Well, yeah, but Bruce is after that.
Oh, I suppose it is.
Because Henry III.
13, 15. When was the Baron Wars?
That's John.
Yeah, true.
So, because John's grandson is Edward I.
Yes. So it would just about.
And then the second. It? Yeah, the second Baron's War, which is the Baron's War I want to do against the Montefiorians, that's against Henry III. Then Henry III's son is Edward I. So, because Edward I fought at Evesham, didn't he?
He did,
but as Prince Edward, because he lead the the Death Squad to get
to kill
de Montfort, Simon de Montfort. 12 knights just go find him and get into. What did they do to him? They chopped him into lots of pieces and put his nuts in his mouth.
That's the usual thing to do.
There goes my monetization.
That's what happened to Edward Bruce as well. They chopped his head off, chopped all his bits off.
What I love about it, about the monetization thing, I thought our last stream, the last one of season 3, was going to get demonetized, right? Because of how much we drank. I called you a penis in the last 5 seconds. And there was no issues at all. Actually, beyond anything, it did really, really well. There was nothing. Whereas we're going to do tonight, it's just going to get demonetized straight away.
Inevitable.
Yeah. I can imagine so.
We'll try our very best anyway.
Do you know what pisses me off about that? Is that we're a relatively small podcast and we paint and we chat and stuff. We don't beg anyone for money. There's other people on YouTube begging people for money.
Maybe it's because we don't beg for money.
Yeah, but you gotta have no self-worth to be doing that. Absolutely no self-worth whatsoever. How do you look yourself in the face after? It's just a bit. Did anyone do that YouTube survey that went around?
No, not yet. No.
I did, and I went every free form one. I just went on a big rant about e-begging because it pisses me off. It's the absolute bane of this platform. It really is. But that's just me going off on a bit of a tangent there.
He says that if anyone is watching and they're a multi-millionaire wants to give me 10 million, I wouldn't say no.
What are you going to do with it though?
Yeah, you'd be bored.
Buy a train. There you go.
Buy a train. God.
Nobody give him 10 million. All he's going to do is buy a bloody train.
That's like on Blackadder with Baldrick and his big turnip.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Turnips. Right. Let's get on topic.
Yes.
25 past. Right. So retroness, 80s and 90s. Dom was around in this time. So was Steve because they're both old. Martin was just finishing uni probably in the 90s. Am I right, Martin?
He was still around then, wasn't he?
In the 90s?
In the 90s?
How old do you think I am?
42 in, yeah?
Huh? Even if I was 42, I wouldn't have been that.
I thought you were 10 years older than me. Yeah, you would have done. You
was that.
No. Oh no, fair enough. No.
I was around in the 90s, Ken. They were my formative years. In fact, I said in the comments, we went shopping just before Christmas. Hayley went into Primark, and because I'd rather stab myself in the eye with needles than go in there, I waited outside, and I was just sort of hanging around. And there's a shop opposite, and it was like your favorite retro clothing, pure 90s. And I looked at it, I was like, that's like my wardrobe.
Martin's actually in style.
That's it. If you wait long enough, it comes around again.
Yeah.
The tough thing is, I still dress the same way I do 22 years ago, except I don't remember. Mark, you remember these? Do you have really big baggy skater jeans?
Yep.
Yes.
Boot cut.
Yes.
Big, huge ones. Yeah. That was my staple.
Yeah.
That was all I wore, with big baggy jeans.
Ken will tell you I get really angry when I go clothes shopping because
he doesn't like skinny jeans.
I don't like skinny jeans. I think they should be banned.
There's something. He doesn't like skinny anything. I told him I've got in a skinny suit, and he refused to come to my wedding.
That's it. No, I think skinny jeans are the work of the devil. I don't get it.
I do own a pair of skinny jeans. I do.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. I do.
Do you really?
Yep.
Do you really?
Yeah, they're from French Connection.
I'm not gonna. I feel like I should say that I want proof, but I don't.
No, I don't want proof. Please, Ken, don't.
No, please, no. Please, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, I do have a pair. Only one. Only bought them because they were cheap.
So Alex was complaining a minute ago. This was like listening to the History Channel. It's now like listening to the Fashion Channel.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. We're meant to be getting on to bloody gaming. So 80s and 90s. Then we'll start with the 80s because let's go back.
Only one person could have an input into the 80s though, and it's Dom. I can't.
I can't remember.
Hang on a minute, Steve. Hang on. You can give a little insight into late 80s.
I can do late 80s, but I never gamed in the 80s.
No, but you can give an insight into it. But Dom, so were you just solely historical back then, or did you delve into anything?
What Dom himself was Dom? Yeah. Dom, were you historical in the 80s?
I'm purely post-medieval, me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to disappoint, Ken, but I hardly did any gamies in the 80s and 90s at all.
Right.
I primarily, because I was at university, I finished university in 88.
You definitely weren't at uni then, Martin.
And I had far too many things that were much more exciting to do than play toy soldiers. That's not true at all.
Dom, what year was the Duran Duran incident?
I think that was, God, what year was that? It was probably about 89.
Oh, okay.
So who would you say was the main? Who would you say the main mini manufacturer was back in the 80s though for historicals?
Oh God, I mean it all blurs. To be absolutely honest, it does all blur between all the different, between the 70s, 80s, and 90s. If I'm honest with me,
would you say the minifigs were up there?
Minifigs was still a thing, but I think they were sort of past their peak really at that point. Well, certainly the mid to late 80s. It was probably more into the sort of Hinchcliffes, the Essexes, and that sort of thing, from what I remember. Yeah. I maybe get my dates wrong. I say it all blurs a bit. I used to do. I mean, back in those days, I used to mainly play board games. Played Squad Leader, all the Avron Hill games, Third Reich, which was just awesome game. And sort of the sort of. Martin's killing himself. I'm not sure why.
I know exactly why. She's like, monetization is gone.
I played a great game. Oh yeah, the Third Reich. Yeah, great game.
Yeah, but Third Reich is a fantastic board game. It really is a brilliant board game. You take over the world. It's fantastic. I think figures, and people are talking about it there. Essex,
Heroic,
Rocks, those sort of things were the main things in those days. Yeah, I think minifigs were sort of.
What's Hayley got round her head?
What's Hayley got round her head?
Oh,
it's a hairband.
Oh, a hairband. I thought it was like a bandana.
No.
It's my halo.
Hayley's halo.
Hayley's halo.
Hayley's halo. I love it. Yeah, I think it was Essex. I mean, lots of Essex we used to have. That's why, and Donington miniatures was the other one. I think I remember doing a lot of 15 mils.
Essex is still about today, then.
Are
they still using some of their original sculpts? Do you think, or do you think they've moved on?
Last time I saw their sculpts, they look exactly the same as half of my 15 mil figure collection. Yeah, they don't look like they've changed one iota.
But they look really good, to be fair, though. It's weird, isn't it?
I think for their time. See, remember that you came out of a period where minifigs were fairly sort of basic, but that was all you could get.
Yeah.
And then Hinchcliffe were just a little step up, I think.
Would you say minifigs then were the first major, like, mainstream sort of miniature manufacturer in bulk, per se? Does that make sense?
I think they were probably, I mean, I wouldn't like to say that for sure, but I think they were the first ones I came across. You had other ones like Martin's just mentioned Lambing miniatures. That was another one that used to be very popular back in those days.
Never heard of that.
I think it was Lancaster as well. Was another one. There was about 3 or 4 companies all at the same sort of time. But I think minifigs were the biggest. Probably had the biggest range. Yeah.
So, Dom, from all these companies, were these sort of one-man bands, 2-3 people working for them, or were they genuinely?
Generally, I think they were pretty small operations.
I just think that sounds like quite a yeah, I can imagine, and I can imagine it wasn't a full-time job either. I imagine it was sort of like a passion thing outside of the normal job.
I would imagine it was for most of them. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of all those companies, but they certainly seem to be that. I mean, but remember, it was an era before you had the bloody internet. So you didn't. It was when you ordered something, it would go via catalogue. I've talked about this before. You'd send off your postal order and your stamped addressed envelope for a list of their range, with maybe a sample if you were lucky, and it would come back about a fortnight later, and then you'd go through it and you'd underline everything and you'd decide what you wanted, and then Minifigs magazine was the thing of the day, and they had some pictures in the back if you were lucky.
I was going to say, so catalogues wise, you didn't even know what the figure looked like before you
half the time you didn't know. No, you didn't at all. So
it's like Hovel's website.
Yeah, exactly. It's pure chance what came along. So you used to love getting the sample, because you'd get the sample, but it'd be like sort of a Han Chinese warrior, and you were about to collect Second World War Americans, but it didn't matter.
But you wouldn't dream of that nowadays, really, would you? Could you imagine opening a website and like all your samples or your website just having listings with no pictures?
No, I know it's
insane,
it's a bizarre concept. That's how it used to be. But then you used to go to
space is money, isn't it? Pictures are money. It's
pictures were money. But you know the magazines used to get, so Miniature Wargames was one of the big ones, and you'd see pictures in there, and that was why they were so fantastic. Or you go to the shows. I mean, the shows are all big places to go and see the stuff, because you didn't get it any other way. So
yeah, shows back then, man. What are you talking about? Were you talking?
Well, it was
scale wise. Are you talking still? When you say big shows, do you mean like town halls? Are you still?
Oh yeah, it was the same sort of. Pretty much, they haven't changed much. I don't think. I mean, there was the infamous. There was one called. Oh God, I think it was Armageddon in Reading once, which got picketed by CND, which was quite amusing because they thought it was a war thing. Quite amusing.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me this story. Yeah.
It's quite amusing, but yeah,
just all you turn out your plastic miniatures.
Yeah.
Oh no, metal minis, I should say.
All these fat blokes wandering around with backpacks. Actually, I don't think we had backpacks in those days. Whatever it was. Yeah. So that was the way it was. So you just, and also through word of mouth, because you go down your club or your friends would have them, but those shows were always really good.
That was going to be my question about. So no internet, shows, magazines. How did people leave reviews? How did people recommend a certain manufacturer?
Yeah, this is it. It was all word of mouth.
It's definitely a fog of war type thing going on there.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there was really. What is wrong with Martin? Jesus.
So you're talking like it's the Dark Ages. It's amazing. It's like they had phones.
Dark Ages. There's no internet.
It's like,
it is for most of these guys.
Actually, saying that, I can remember just going forward to the next decade, sort of 91, when I got into the hobby. Games Workshop, they had a paper catalogue, and it was 4 sizes of A4, no pictures, and all it was product code and the product name. And that you used to get the in the back of White Dwarf to do a selection, you could order from there. But most of their trade, I imagine, was done through their stores.
I think that's the way it was. I mean, I remember going to the club, and one of the clubs I was at the time, or through that sort of era. And so when somebody came in with a new army or something, everyone would sort of, go around the table.
What code are those figures?
Where did that come from? And who was that? And because it was the only way you saw it. So it was important that you did. A lot of it was on faith, though. You didn't know what half the manufacturers were.
You got stuff like this going on. In your gaming club. Is that Wings of War, Dom? Would you say it looks?
No. That looks like a homebrew.
That scale is massive.
Yeah, they look well. Yeah,
scale doesn't look right on that table, does it? Really?
No. But you're looking at stuff like this, and wargaming and these figures, because like you were saying, these look like they're like Airfix sort of kits, don't they? Like 1/72 and all that sort of stuff, 1/56 scale, and and just people just bashing together, because that is a bit of MDF. There you go, Steve. There's your MDF base there.
Yeah.
And a metal butt. I don't know what that. Do you know what that is? They're car aerials. They're
car aerials.
They are car.
They are. They're car aerials.
We used to do that when I was at Heston Wargaming Club. We used to have this First World War aircraft game, which was homebrew, and they used to operate. No, first of all, they used sticks with little holes in them and pegs, and you stuck them in, and then you got the heights. But then somebody came up with a clever idea of getting all these aerials and doing exactly that. Yeah. The trouble is they'd lose their sort of springiness after a while. So
I'd imagine. Yeah,
drop from 10,000 feet.
You're like, you're like at 40,000 feet on turn 1, and then by turn 2, you're like, shit, I swear I was at 40,000 feet.
Do you know what? If I'd spent hours building one of those planes to have it mounted on a car aerial, I don't think I'd be able to relax the entire night in case it came crashing down into smithereens.
I can't remember.
To be fair, Steve, that's what that guy's looking like with that pencil in his hand. He's looking at it.
He's like, oh shit, no.
He's just about to jab somebody in the eye if they dropped it.
Yeah.
I spent 40 hours working on that.
I think that's the thing that's changed the most. It's not necessarily the figures. The sculpting and the design work on the figures has got better and better and better. But the thing that has changed more than anything else is the tables and the terrain and that sort of thing. The whole, you never used
that looks awesome from here. That was wicked.
Well, the fact you can do that at home effectively, or on your 6x4 table or whatever, is amazing. Whereas you never used to see terrain like that unless you went to a big convention or a big show. You just didn't see it. And so most often we got away with shoving books under a Subutio mat, a few sort of, I don't know what kind of trees we used, but whatever they were, usually bits of cardboard, I think, from what I remember. And that was it. And it was that was the thing that was most amazing. The figures, once you ranked them all up and you painted them really well, they were still amazingly fantastic painters even back in those days. Ken. So the painting of the figures was brilliant, and they all looked nice, but it was the terrain. You look back in some of the old Gilder books and Featherstone books, and the thing that strikes you the most,
cardboard stuff, isn't it?
They've got cardboard, and they got pieces of felt for roads and that sort of thing, and coloured pieces of paper almost for rivers. And it's that's the most amazing thing.
Yeah,
I think, in hobby.
Yeah, I must say, even in the last 10 years, it's changed quite a bit. But I think in the 90s, when you go on to the 90s and you get this system come along, it kind of changed things. That box set kind of changed stuff because
just that artwork, man. Dom, close your ears, mate, but I am moist right now.
You know, the arrival of that brought a whole load of weird shit to the world. That's all
it did, didn't it?
Just look at that. I mean, the artwork, it's just so evocative. And I've still my copy of that is just down in my hallway.
Lucky man.
Still got it, and it's like Ken said, that changed everything, because up until that point, people have been playing Rogue Trader 40k, which was a book. You didn't get figures with it. You didn't get cards. You didn't get dice. It was a book, and you used that how you wanted to use it. If you wanted to do a mass battle, knock yourself out. You wanted to play a skirmish game, brilliant. Want to do an RPG tabletop skirmish game, the rules are there. Want to be freaked out by the scenarios, you'd be freaked out by the scenarios because they're mad. But what they seemed to do with Second Ed was they condensed it all into a... For me, it's one of the earliest memories of a starter set. It really was. You had two sides. You had
everything you needed in a box, didn't you? Everything down, dice. You could pick the box up and play it. You had dice, and you had your rulers were all in there. Everything, cards.
I got that for Christmas in 1993.
I got it,
and it was
94.
Brilliant. But what the good thing about that is, I know people are, when we're talking about painting and aesthetics and styles, there is that second edition aesthetic, the goblin green bases, the massively bright Space Marines. I mean, it wasn't grimdark. It certainly wasn't grimdark. It was very bright, and it was like there was skulls everywhere. Everywhere there were skulls. But we played that game to death. We literally did. I may have mentioned it before that we played that game so much we had to stop because we hated each other by the end of it.
Yeah,
because all we wanted to do, it wasn't about the gaming experience. It wasn't about, let's have 3 or 4 hours, roll some dice and some friendly banter. It was, no, here's my army, and I'm going to absolutely annihilate you in as quick a time as possible, and it's going to be completely joyless and funless. Your soul may die just a little bit by 9 o'clock.
Well, I'll tell you what, because obviously this is when I was born. I was born in the early 90s. So I experienced this in the 2000s, the 90s games, because I got them after you guys have all obviously played them for 10 years and all that sort of stuff. And when I looked through the magazines and like White Dwarfs and Codexes, and you had, your standard setup for an army in a Games Workshop magazine was like 2 or 3 tiers of height. You'd have like your basic infantry, then you'd have like your command and all that, your elites, and then you'd have your cannons set up on the top. And it'd all just be on that one sort of plinth, how it was. And it'd all be heavy metal painted. And it just looked I don't know, it just looked awesome. It just, I don't know what it was. It just seemed to capture me as a child.
The best thing about second edition is at the Warlord Games Open Day, I got to speak to Andy Chambers. And cool. I asked him about Virus Outbreak.
Right.
And he was like, he told all his friends to throw it away because basically, if you didn't have a respirator, so if you were Imperial Guard or Orcs or anyone that didn't have any kind of breathing thing, and as a strategy card, your opponent had Virus Outbreak, the game was virtually over because So if
you were Death Corps Krieg, you were cool.
You were cool. No, you were fine. If you had Imperial Guard or Orcs or even squats back in the... Did they have squats in second edition? I don't think they did.
Yeah, squats. No, squats in second.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, it was one person developed the virus, and then you'd roll for the next guy next to him, and if he got it, you'd roll for the next guy next to him. When you start up with your 90-figure Imperial Guard army, and by the start of the turn, you've got 13 figures left. But no, it was good raising that with him. Yeah, he said, just never use it, throw it away.
Okay. Sell it to me. I'm trying to find a set.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to find.
I'm not. It's not the figures. I'm not after the figures. I'm just after the rule books and the cards and.
For what, the second edition? I sold one. I still got Dark Millennium.
Oh,
still got that, have you? I might have to buy that off you.
I might have to buy that off you. So can me and Ken fight like Spock and Kirk for?
I've got a sword behind me.
Yeah, but he's got to wear his skinny jeans.
Yeah.
God. You win by default, Ken. You can have it. But no, Dark Millennium was good because it expanded to give all the extra psychic rules, and it really did. It was a great addition. And then the army books, and again the army books they weren't too power creepy. Yeah. They just expanded on the basic lists.
They're not like they are today. It's a completely different game.
It's a different language. I can't understand any of it.
It's very. If you look back at it, the second edition stuff, it is very basic when you look at it.
And what do you think about it?
Well, you say that
compared to now.
The vehicles were horrendous.
No,
to work out. The vehicles were stupid. Right? You had I know it's cool. You had like a damage chart for the side, a damage chart for the hull, a damage chart for the top, and then a damage chart for the rear. And then you had which was cool. I liked all that. But then you had like 6 different armor values depending on when you hit them. And when you're like 10 years old, and I'm not saying
that's
hard remedial or anything like that. I'm like pick it up and like, I want to shoot the tank. And like, what do I do? You know, and then I'm trying to get my dad to care. And he's looking at these cars like that. Nah. See, because I only bought it because I bought. See, I got mine too in retro game was second edition Dungeons and Dragons, which I got in '92, and I got that with a whole bunch of miniatures, Ralph miniatures, which were like from the '80s, but it was still really available. And then. I think I've said before, some mate just bought White Dwarf to school, and we were looking at it going, oh yeah, cool, look, monsters with guns. This will be cool. And then I got that 40k, that second edition box. I got that from Argos for 40 quid. I remember.
40 pounds.
It was 40 quid.
Yeah, it's 40 quid. That's how much it was back then.
I want to know what that is with inflation today. I genuinely want to know now.
Probably about 2.5 kidneys on eBay.
Yeah, but that was. I mean, essentially, like my gaming in the '90s was Games Workshop, and although more of it was role play, more of it was D&D and going to. Because I used to go to RPG conventions and that. I remember my dad used to drop me, refuse to come in, would go and find the service station to go sit in, and I would wander around buying like loads of like dungeon scenery and. Like little packs of bugbears and like because the sort of old D&D Rail Path was like tiny compared to. I sold some on eBay recently, and they're almost like 18 mil, but they're meant to be like 25. I think it's just there was no consistency in scale. But catalogs, I remember Reaper miniatures. I remember their catalogs because they've been going for a long time. They were cool.
White Dwarf was probably one of the. How many historical magazines were there back in the 90s? Would you say, Don Martin, Steve? Did you say there was a few, or just the odd one, or? Pre-internet magazines was it, wasn't it? Magazines.
Miniature War Games was the big one.
Yeah,
but then, oh god, what was there was military. Oh God, was it? There was a military modelling one. I can't remember which. I remember reading first before there was any real historical magazines as such.
Yeah.
And but it used to have an occasional article about wargaming in it or a battle report, and I used to read those. And they military modelling. That's it. Thanks, Andy. That's exactly what it was, and it's still going. I think it's a really good magazine.
People saying Battle.
Battle was a very early one. I never used to get Battle, and I don't know how I couldn't get hold of it. But then you had Strategy. Oh God, what was the magazine? Strategy and something or other, which also gave you a game with each edition, a board game.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Which was really good.
Were these going to buy monthly basis, or were they longer than that?
I think those were most of them like military modelling and miniature war games were monthly as they are now. I think the Soldiers and Strategy or whatever it was called, that was I think it was every couple of months or so. It wasn't that regular.
Right, okay. So they didn't have like a fixed release time like they
No. Strategy and Tactics. Thanks, Leslie. Strategy and Tactics, that's it. Yeah, I think you can. If you go down the conventions or go to any of the shows, you'll find buckets of them.
Yeah, just the old mags. Yeah,
just the old mags and the games in them with the counter, and they even came with counters in most cases.
Oh, that's quite cool. Isn't it?
So they were good. And then Wargames Illustrated was quite an early magazine. It came in quite early on. I remember that arriving and everyone going, "Wow, that's fantastic.
Awesome," sort of thing. Yeah.
Wargames Illustrated was the first non-White Dwarf magazine that I bought. I can even remember what the two main articles. There was one was Wargaming the Jacobite Rebellion, and the second one was a sort of homebrew Dad's Army style campaign type thing. They
cool.
were they were the two articles that always stood out to me.
Yeah. Well, I gather a lot of the mags back in the day were they in black and white? A lot of them, and then you got to change the color in the 90s. No, a lot of them were like the old GW ones. The old GW White Dwarfs were all black and white, weren't they?
I think by the 80s and 90s they were pretty. They had colour. I mean, they weren't all colour. To be fair, they didn't have every single page as colour. But they
hey,
were...
mine, I'm doing the reporting thing.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Some people are young. Some people are young. I don't remember black and white telly. My dad does. Yeah. Jesus.
You know, I think I used to have a whole load. I had all those early Wargames Illustrated magazines. Every single one for the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And then when I was clearing out the garage, I'd put them all in a box in the garage. And then the bloody mice had got to them. So they were all dead.
Oh, that's
so they had to go and skip. It was really annoying because I was looking forward to working through them all again because they had some fantastic, like Steve says, they've had periods in there that you just would never ever think about going for. It's like, oh my goodness. And probably a good thing I haven't read any of them again because I'd probably get, with my willpower, probably a whole load of other projects to get into.
So Perry's, they weren't their own thing in the 90s, were they? It was in the 2000s, wasn't it? They became a company.
Yeah, I think it was 2000.
About 2006 or so. It was after Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Right, it was just after Lord of the Rings. All right, so they were working for Games Workshop at that time. Then they were working, for Games Workshop. Yeah, because before then they did I was going to say before then they did figures for
the Foundry.
Foundry, Foundry. It was Foundry, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah,
so they were quite early as well then, Foundry.
But then I do remember when they were on, didn't they say they were doing that sort of sideline from GW? They were still working at GW, and then they did that
because it was historical, wasn't it? They were allowed, weren't they? It wasn't anything competitive, was it? So they were okay to do it.
And if you go, you go on the Foundry site, there's still very clearly
their figures,
range of still some great figures that they produced back in the, I guess, early 2000s or whatever it was.
Yeah, early part of the thingy. Yeah, no, that's cool. That is cool. It's like. You just look at the quality and the different figures because obviously you had metal was the main where it was at, wasn't it? So it was just all about the metal figs. I'm just trying to
all about the metal.
So you had like this sort of stuff. So Steve, the Blood Bowl.
Oh my word!
Look at some of these like classic sort of. The thing I like about these metal figures, and I really like them. I think. They're good. They're quite unique, but that's what I like about it. They're all that unique side of things. But you got some conversions there. Look, you got some.
Let's face it, Ken. The word you're looking for is bloody weird because they are. They're strange, but they've just got this aesthetic, this look that I just don't think companies can capture these days. I don't know what it is. There's just something uniquely weird about them.
Yeah,
I get why people would want to collect all those things, but a number of people who still collect things like minifigs figures, and I think, I just don't get why that is. Apart from sort of for old time's sake, they look so dated. Those don't really look that dated. They look weird.
They look unique, don't they? They look unique.
Yeah,
they're like they've got that old school sort of cool to them. They're like they've got that retro feel, if that makes sense.
I think Simon's got it right. They've got charisma. There's something about them that they're strange. They're odd.
So I never had anything like that. But were they molded as well? Did they have as good a sort of sculpting as a modern figure?
No.
They wouldn't have as much detail, would they?
No. I mean, I remember some of the 40k metals I had in the early 90s.
Range today, didn't you?
Yeah, that Adeptus Mechanicus one, 1988. That's from bloody hell's fire. But I had before the Eldar were actually Eldar, they were pirates in 40k.
Space pirates, weren't they?
Space pirates. I had some of those. I remember Christmas '91. I got the Blood Angels army that Andy Chambers had used in my first White Dwarf. So I went out. I got for Christmas. I got the Beaky Marines, a Rhino, Thud Gun, and all these metal characters. I got a librarian, a chaplain, and for me back then, they're my first metals, and I thought they were really good. But looking back, they were probably a bit basic. But they had that look, they had that charm to them that really fit in with that. Again, the grimdark aesthetic of Rogue Trader 40k. And I think that the challenge was developing that the range of Citadel miniatures that fitted in with the 40k grimdark background. And I think they did it really well. I mean, it really helped that they had people like John Blanche illustrating for them as well.
Their illustrations were something else, weren't they?
Yes, the artwork.
The artwork, it was
so evocative.
I got to admit, I prefer that artwork in the 90s than I do their artwork now. I just something about it. Just
what you mean?
I don't know. The colours,
cartoon smiley space marines.
Yeah, I love it
with Necrons. Yeah, no,
it's just so cool. It's just like something you wouldn't expect. Don't get me wrong, the artwork now is beautiful. Beautiful artwork, but I just think it just takes me back, and that's what I mean. I wasn't old, but it just makes me think this is sweet. This is cool.
Well, like I said, I mean, John Blanche has got his own sort of his own art style, so Blanchitsu. I mean, his artwork spawned that whole aesthetic, that whole movement within the hobby.
Yeah,
and again, that came from his involvement in early 40k. But I like just going back to the second edition. Like I said, that was, as far as I can remember, the first starter box. Dom, back in the sort of the 80s, even the 70s, did they produce starter boxes like that?
I don't. Martin's kissing.
This is every time they go and talk to you, like, Dom, cast your mind back through the mists of time.
I'm the honouring old folk here. Let me think back. I can't think back that far. No, I don't. Honestly, I don't think they did. I don't remember there being sort of sets.
Oh, there was the Airfix.
I suppose, if you go back that far, there were Airfix.
Yeah,
quite right. Yeah. In terms of proper sort of wargaming figures, no, I don't think there were. I'll just spill the beer. The beer's just had an accident.
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't think there was. I'm trying to remember when the sort of first, apart from FX, which did do a really good job of those sort of box sets. I don't really remember when the first proper sort of boxes of or sort of combined arms things came out.
It's got to be GW, isn't it? Really, I can't think of anything. But when was the first historical ones?
That's
D&D, TSR produced little battle sets. Long before Games Workshop, TSR did. We remember that Games Workshop Citadel started out, they were making role-playing miniatures, and you could buy little battle sets where you would have like adventurers versus like some goblins or whatever. You could do that for a long time.
You could buy your adventure party, couldn't you? I remember those.
Yeah,
really cool figures.
Absolutely. So there were a couple. I mean, I don't know if you. I wouldn't say that necessarily there was a box, but certainly when you ordered them, you would order it as a set.
Would that come with rules as well?
No, because it was D&D. Well, it was D&D.
So it's just D&D. Sorry, that's what I meant. I meant like a whole game where you get everything, your rules. Your dice.
Well, you there were games like
more board games,
offshoots. Yeah, but that's where you kind of like cross this thing because like originally, the guys who made D&D, they played miniature war games to start with. That's what they did. Gary Gygax and Dave Arndt, they played war games, and then but what they wanted to do is because they said instead of being the general, what's it like to be the guy on the front line, and that's how. And they developed a little game called Chainmail, and Chainmail eventually became D&D. That's how that developed. They did it from historical wargaming, and that was in the 70s. Start of the 70s.
Yeah.
There's certainly, there's always been, not always been, but there's quite a long time there were lots of army packs and battle packs, where you could buy a couple of regiments.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, those existed quite early on from what I remember. But I don't think you got Battle in a Box from many. Yorkshire says Irregular did. I don't remember. Irregular is another one that has been around for yonks and yonks and yonks, Irregular miniatures. Jeez. But yeah,
that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
I seem to remember Irregular were one of the first ones I remember having illustrations in their catalogues. That was just most bizarre. I just had a flashback from that. I never bought many Irregulars, but they used to have images in their pictures.
Were the catalogs made of papyrus with?
They were. They were literally home Xeroxed. They used to be that kind of thing. They were amazing. Some of them. I wish I kept some of them.
We're talking what 40 years ago now, aren't we? Over 40 years ago.
It can't possibly that. It can't be that long ago, Ken. No,
crazy, isn't it?
No, can't be.
It'd have been 40 years ago in about 5 years that you finished uni, mate.
Fuck off. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Crazy, isn't it? But that's what I mean. It's just evolved so much, isn't it? And I think a lot of that's to do with the internet, personally. And internet's changed the world, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
I think the internet has changed a lot, and I think our expectations as punters has changed as well.
Yeah.
We don't take crap as much as maybe we did in the past. What was acceptable.
And we don't like waiting around either.
I think also the materials being used are far better. Sort of the
technology,
plastics, the metals,
improved, isn't it?
Just extraordinary. You look at some of the stuff that's going on.
That 3D printed bloody thing Martin had.
Drink again, everyone.
Yeah, but look at it. Martin's just made that a goo.
Oh, that's an interesting one, Carl. Yes, Nav War. Yeah, they used to do battle sets. You're right. With the rules. If you liked your naval stuff, they were really good.
So there's an interesting point from Andy. So now is the golden age of the hobby. Now, last week on the Facebook group page, I put pictures of that Necromunda terrain that I'd found, and just putting that together, it made me miss those days. It made me miss the days of playing Necromunda in 95, 96. I don't know. Again, it's because for me, I was still new to the hobby. We were playing a lot of different games, but Necromunda will always stand out as
you loved a bit of Necromunda, didn't you, Steve?
Absolutely loved it. It was a game that we got so involved in. It was our games club on a Tuesday. During that time, it'd be rare to see less than 3 games of Necromunda being played. We had a campaign. The guy that ran the campaign, Dave, he used to produce a weekly newsletter about the different encounters, who'd been killed, who'd been captured, what territory had been gained or lost. And it was the first time that I'd ever really been involved in a campaign like that, and it was so different.
Awesome to do something like that now, though, wouldn't it? But there's nothing stopping us doing it. It's just even though we can't play together, we could all like in different parts of the country. There's nothing saying there's like a group of 6 people in Yorkshire, 6 people in the east, and like you say, someone could do the campaign thing, get the summary of each week of how the battles have gone in Yorkshire, how they've gone down here. This hive city's lost that hive city's lost this. And so it's just more the communication side of things, isn't it? And even though we're more connected together, we're not.
All right,
No, because I can say back then there was about a group of about 9 or 10 of us that played Necromunda, and it was that involvement, and we used to play it at the club on a Tuesday, but we'd even go around to my mates on the weekend. We'd play games there. Whenever we had any spare time, we were just playing Necromunda, and it just took over. it just took over the hobby for us for the best.
Well, I've been looking for, because you. I'm not going to lie, you got me ever since you first started talking about Necromunda. You've always got me thinking about it and wanting to do it, and play it. And it's like I've been looking for separate sculpts, 3D sculpts that I can print out to make a gang and stuff like that. I found 3 so far that I really like that I've got saved. 3 that I've got saved that I'm going to do.
It was just again for me, and the rules were just second edition 40k.
Yeah.
So the combat and the movements.
Yeah, but they were cool. They were cool. You could do cool shit with them, with the guns and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you had injuries, and people, you'd lose fingers, you'd lose an eye, you'd lose a leg. You could hire, if you had enough credits, you could hire bounty hunters or like rat skin scouts or scum, and it was just something about it. It was just. I mean, Andy's right. Now is the golden age of the hobby. I mean, for accessibility, quality, and variety, I don't think you can.
I think also for cost as well. I think it's.
I think cost is really fair. To be fair, at the moment for figures, even like we were moaning about the Games Workshop's figure prices. I just worked it out actually. To be fair, they're 40 quid. Martin paid for 93. Works out about 110 quid, and that's nearly what they're charging now for a box set, innit? How much they're charging for a box set now? 120 or something like that, innit?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really, with inflation, been a massive increase that you would expect. So can we really moan about our prices in the hobby? For what it is, I tell you now, if you think this is expensive, don't do trains. Jesus. Don't do trains.
No, Ken, having been in that shop with you in Derby,
don't do trains.
I almost prolapsed in that shop with the prices.
I wouldn't. I've God knows how much I spent on trains. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. But it's something I like, so I don't mind doing it. But I'm telling you now, I'm trying to do as much trains as I can now, because when I have children, there's no fucking way on this planet I'll be able to buy train stuff. No way. Dear God. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like you say, value for money.
Now, though, aren't we?
Look at all the manufacturers you got. You got Victrix that do massive bundles of figures that in all different periods. So you got Napoleonics, you got Dark Ages. They're even.
Here's the thing: do you think that's losing something in the hobby? Because
there's so many different things to do.
There's so many things. I mean, each week when we go down, when some of us go down the club each week, we decide.
It's always a different game, isn't there?
It's like, what do we play? Well, we could do this, we could do that, we could do that, do that. And there's so many games, and that almost, like you were talking about your game, Steve, Necromunda. If that's all you were playing, that's what you played, wasn't it? It's like when we used to go down, we played Ancient Battles. That's what we played, and now it's like.
And everyone would have an ancient army, so everyone could play everybody. And it's like Steve Necromunda, wasn't it? Everyone played Necromunda. Everyone had a Necromunda army, so everyone could play everybody, and it was that. But now you've got you're finding like Martin, what you do, you do both sides of the army, don't you? For your games, you do
a lot
both
of them,
sides. Yeah,
a lot of them.
Because you can't normally expect, if there's like this rule system out there like Conquest. It's a cool rule system, but you wouldn't just go out and buy an army for it just to play one game of it, would you?
But also that sort of takes away a little bit from that.
Does that make sense?
Running a campaign or doing sort of multiple games, doesn't it? Because
and that's
it's like, I don't really want to play it this week. I want to go and play
something else
or something or whatever. It's like, because you've got so many options.
That's what I mean. It's still not done a campaign yet. I need to do a campaign.
I remember back in the 90s at our club, so if 1 week you say what we do next week, don't go 2nd ed 40k. We'll play 40k. Everyone, Ken said, everyone had an army for it.
Yeah.
Don't play Necromunda, Blood Bowl,
everyone's got one.
Man of War. Everyone had something, because I mean, even 40k back then, you didn't need massive armies.
No,
they weren't huge.
Maybe 5 units, 5-6 units would be about it. Oh, is that me?
To him.
I died.
We've lost him.
We've lost him.
Oh, I know.
Got rid of him at last.
It's all this 40k chat. He's been dragged into the warp.
You still hear me?
Good riddance.
You still hear you, yeah.
Yeah, sadly we can hear you.
Okay. I'm coming back. There you go.
I'm
back.
Damn.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? It's like you say. It's like there's so many different game systems, so many different rule systems, so many different things. It's like basing in like I like what you do, Martin, where you just base how you want to base and not to specifically to a rule system to match different games. So like it just works. So you do historicals and your historicals will work with different rule sets. So it's not that much of a trouble. But when you've got game specifics, like you've got a game that requires you to have things on single hex basis, for example.
What's the game going to do? Is it going to hold a gun to your head and tell you it's going to take?
No, I know, but if you want to go to a tournament and play it, you got to follow the rules, don't you?
Yeah, but how often are you going to go to a tournament? How often?
Some people's bread and butter, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, some people love it.
Some people
really enjoy that. But it would be nice to have a standardized form of basing. I've got to admit that would be
no. Why would you stifle creativity? Why would you want to ruin people's creativity? Okay, you have to do it this way.
No, I mean like. What I'm trying to say is, it's like
you sounded genuinely.
You say that anyway.
No, it's just fucking Cromwell here. No fun.
I mean, such a twat. I mean, like if you've got single individual bases, make them a single individual base. One thing. So one figure, 28 mil, will be on a 25 mil round base. Yeah.
Why?
Why not? Because then everybody's based on a 25 mil round base.
I don't want it to be.
I'm just
saying, do what you want.
No,
people don't.
Ken, no,
go away. You've lost me.
No, because if someone said to me that I have to base,
it just makes it easier for playing different games. So some bases require you to have squares. Some require you to have circles.
Yeah, if someone said to me that I have to base all my bolt action artillery on those round bases, I wouldn't.
No, if you wanted to play it officially, say officially you wanted to play it in a game, yeah? So like there was an official set of rules that we use as gamers or an official set of basing if you want to go to a tournament. I'm saying, right?
It would only be relevant for tournament play.
Yes.
So you're saying that basically everyone would have to play in tournaments?
If they wanted to. If they
wanted to, they don't have to do it, do they?
I just say it. This retro escalated quickly, didn't it?
It did, didn't it? I love this retro. It's fantastic.
No, for me, and I know Martin has said this. Before you start a new project, for me, sometimes
we don't base tanks.
It's the basing that I think of first. How am I going to base this? Is it going to be a big baseball base? Is it going to be multi-based? If someone said to me, and I don't play in tournaments anyway because I'm just not that kind of person. But if I did, and someone said you can't enter unless all your artillery are on 50 mil bases, and I'd be like, but that's going to stifle my mindset. It's going to stifle my creativity. I want people to look at my arm and go, "Oh, that's a bit different."
I've actually got someone on my side. Thank you.
It was Cromwell second in command.
What I'm trying to say is it just sometimes games don't work when you've got multiple. Like Kings of War uses those massive, like you just got a massive square face, haven't you? Yeah. Right. And that's fine. But what happens if like I've only got my stuff and it looks completely different to someone else's? I like the aesthetic.
Put it in a movement tray.
There's ways around
it. Just what everyone else does.
Well,
we just ways around it. It looks shit. There you go. It looks shit. So be a man, put it on a bloody one base, and just go right. I'm going to play this game.
But I can't, can I? Because my other rule systems are telling me I've got to have small units that are only 6 figures. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh,
so
that's what it says in the rules.
Oh no! Oh, the book. The book is going to come and get me.
Anarchy.
Oh, no.
I just don't. Personally, I wouldn't do that. I don't. I think I mean, obviously, there's going to be. You wouldn't multi-base Blood Bowl figures like that. Let's dabble with the truth there.
No, but what I'm saying is, you put them on a standard size base. That's what I'm trying to say. You put them on, say, a 32 mil round base for a single individual figure. That's what I'm trying to say. So each rule system, no matter what rule system you're playing, a 28 mil single figure, if it says in the rules that's what it's for, you put it on a 32 mil round base.
Why?
Why not?
I don't understand.
Because you can use it over multiple rule sets. So then you've only got one set of rules.
Bases.
You can't make cool bases.
My Saga Warlord is on a cool base because I've stuck another 2 people on there, one holding a banner and one holding a hostage. Why would I want to then not be able to do like cool stuff like that?
I think I'm trying to say from a practical sense. I'm not saying from a cool sense.
Why is it practical?
My pack 40 is on a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter base. It's frigging huge.
But then if you're playing a rule set that states it's base to base contact, or you're playing a game that says it's where you target the base. So as soon as I hit the base, that means I can be closer to you than you are to me for me to kill you.
You just did.
Because at what point do you turn around and say, right, you're hitting the gun?
Okay.
You don't. You only ever target. Most games, you only target the base anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So if you target the base. So if Steve's base is 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters,
but the front of the base is still going to be the same distance.
No, it won't.
Doesn't matter.
It's a bigger base. How can it be? How can it be?
But the front of it is still going to be the same distance. You're not targeting the middle of it, are you? You're targeting the front of it. You could have 100 mil square base, but the front of it is still going to be at the same place as a 10 mil square base. It's still going to be the same.
Yeah.
Okay then, Ken. Yeah. Okay then, Ken. With that in mind, what about crew figures for Battletech? Because I don't individually base my crew figures.
Ooh, is that me or you, Steve?
What?
No, that was Steve.
Was
that Steve or me?
I don't know what happened. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Oh no. Oh, I thought you just went.
No. So Battletech and crew, I don't individually base mine. I stick them on one big cork base. Is that standard basing?
David, be quiet. Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up.
Don't. You'll that will ruin me for the next half an hour. I don't even want to think about that because it just creases me up too much.
Oh dear, I think I've started something in the comment. I apologise. I'm just trying to chuck something out there. Just an idea. It's all right. I'm being slammed down. It's fine. I'm used
quite rightly.
I'll tell you what, Ken. The thing to do basically is what I always do: is just buy 3 different armies, one for each system. Fantastic.
I don't want to fucking do that. That's the whole point.
Here's the one. But here's the thing, right? You're already being abstract when you're imagining that 24 men represents 500. Why can't you be abstract about what base they're on?
Exactly,
because it might look shit to me. So I wouldn't have 500 men in 28 mil scale represented by 2 men, for example. 24, I'd get away with. I wouldn't mind 24. It looks like a big group of guys.
Yeah, but my point is you could just. What? You've just made my point. No. It's not. No, it's not. Right? Okay, so I'll give you an example here. Right, you've got a nice big base, like Kings of War base with 4 on, yeah? Right? You don't have to do it that way. You know that.
No, but if you do, yeah, say like you do. Yeah, right, you do it like that, 40 figures, right? Looks really cool. Awesome. Yeah, proper little diorama scene. And then you play against someone that's got 3 figures on a small base that's like that big. Yeah. Because that's how they like to base, and they use it for a different game system. No, but that's not the unit size.
Because the unit size is dictated by the base size in Kings of War. Right. So you can't play. So that person would have a tiny unit.
Yeah, so they can't play. Yeah, so they can't play. That's the whole point.
Because they've only got but they could just play if they bought a base big enough. They could stick 2 models on it if they wanted to. They could put a load of trees on it for all I care. I like to say I was playing Ents.
Yeah,
you've actually just gone backwards and you've argued against your original point.
No,
or here's a better idea: just don't play that. Robin's just said, just don't play that person.
True, but what if that's your only gaming friend?
Oh God, get better friends.
Can we answer Paul's question about Battletech? Come on.
Yeah,
that's a retro game. I played that in the 90s as well. It was
you played Battletech
good.
As well, didn't you?
I just found it a bit dice heavy and there's a lot of housekeeping, but very enjoyable game. Yes.
Never played it. Sorry, no idea.
Well, big robots jumping around the place, shooting bits off each other. What's not to like about that?
Sounds very cool.
It is. There's a new starter box out at the moment that there's a guy called Phil, and he keeps posting pictures of his painted mechs in my Facebook group. And every time I see them, I go, I don't want to get involved in Battletech, because it's the lore is brilliant. It's got a really good background.
What company is it? Is it the produce it? We'll get a company to produce the game.
I can't remember. I know there's a like I said, they've just produced a new starter box, all in. You get your hex map, you get your dice, you get your mechs. It looks really good. And I never owned any mechs my own. I had to use my friends, so I've never painted anything Battle Mech at all, which would be something new for me, which would be quite nice.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That does sound quite cool. What time?
There's your company there.
Oh, right. Faster.
But yeah, that for me, that's a really good retro game, Battletech.
Yeah. So if you say retro, what would be your game of choice then, Steve? Retro for you?
One God.
Just one game, Steve. You only got
no,
one.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you got to link it down to one. Sorry, retro, one game. If you had to pick, what?
Space Marine.
Oh, wow. Don't pick Space Marine. What about you, mine? Retro, one game. What would you play?
I don't know. D&D, second edition. I don't care about retro wargaming.
Fair enough. What about you, Dom?
Yeah, D&D.
I'm a bit like Martin. I don't care particularly. I probably, if I could play something again from the past that I love playing a lot, would be Squad Leader.
Oh, right, okay.
Squad Leader board game.
Yeah.
Or without starting Martin up again, Third Reich as well, which was an awesome game.
Dom, not DMB.
DMB.
Oh, no, yeah, DMB. Mine would obviously be Space Marine, the same as D. Very closely followed by Necromunda, even though I've never played it. I just love the sound of it. Sounds
Brilliant.
Very good.
Brilliant game.
Does sound very good. I think it is time for some news. Let's have a little go.
Bloody hell, he finally did it. We've only waited an entire year for that.
Well, no, technically it's 4 seasons now, isn't it? We never had one in the past.
And there was no burst eardrums from that one either.
No, there was no burst eardrums or anything. So, yeah.
Well done, Ken. That was worth Christmas just for that.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's fine. So news-wise, there's been a hell of a lot going on at the moment, isn't there, out there? Some interesting things, some really random things. I know you've seen some stuff, Don. Martin's seen some stuff. I've seen some stuff as well, but I think you two have actually seen the stuff I've seen. Actually, no, you might not have done. All right, carry on. Yeah, I don't think you have, actually.
You've seen the stuff I've seen.
Yes, yeah.
He's so eloquent, isn't he? Well, I'll start then. I know we showed some of the Reconquer stuff last time we were on, so the January stuff. Awesome.
Yeah. Look at it.
Awesome stuff.
Cool units, isn't it? It's like I love their little the diorama stuff they do as well.
Yeah.
Just makes a battlefield, doesn't it?
It does. I think it looks really, really good. But I don't think we saw close-ups of some of the. So this is Queen Urraca, the Reckless. I don't know anything about that Spanish history at all, so I don't know why she was called the Reckless. But there she is in a finery.
I can't work out. Was that actually a mace or was it just like a scepter?
I think it's a scepter. I don't think she'd twonk somebody on the head with that. To be fair,
it looks like something a jester would be holding from here.
It actually does. You're right.
To be fair, though, it would hurt if someone hit you with that.
Yeah. And then there were the Iberian court guards that just look amazing.
Ooh.
I like how that shield's flat as well, so you can do your own sort of transfers for that as well, can you? You can paint onto it as well.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Oh, before we finish tonight, I've got a question about shields that I need to ask before the end of the show. We'll get to that later.
Cool. And then these were lords, I believe.
That's nice.
They're not
they're
just generic sort of ones, are they?
Yeah. Don't know. They're particular thing.
No, they're some of the Sid's companions.
Ah, okay.
Is he picking his nose?
Good. I suspect he's just scratching on his top lip, thinking, but whatever you want with your figure. And then he's shown off at least one of his February releases.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow! Look at that.
So he's doing the Arab Saracen crossbowmen. They just look amazing.
Shit! I might have to subscribe for that month. So they might be very handy. Wow! Look,
I am resisting so much not to do that.
They'd be very good for Lime Rampant.
When you combine that with the shield wall he did of Arabs last month,
and
then you put that with that, I mean, just wow.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I've seen Reconquer. I don't think he showed any more of the February stuff yet, but I'm sure we'll see them in the coming month. And then the Perrys. Plastic French Franco-Prussian figures coming.
Oh, nice.
They haven't put a launch date for them yet, but they've had they had the Prussians out for ages. But the French have taken a while to follow. So it looks like they're following the same theme they did with the Prussians. So they have sort of marching poses, boxer marching, and then the firing ones, which you can then use as skirmishy types. So
Are they still? I wonder if they're still. They must be playing this again then. If they're sculpting again, these. I don't know. I know they've had them a while.
I mean, they planned them. I know when we spoke to them last, they were talking about them doing them as plastics at some point, but they seem to have taken a long time to come through.
2 years. That's 2 years. We need to get them back on. It's been 2 years. Last year, did we?
Yeah, we didn't. I might have to ping them. And also, they've expanded out some of their Napoleonic range. So this is Saxon cavalry.
Oh, nice. Alan is a very good painter, isn't he?
He is an extremely good painter. Yeah.
A very good painter.
So there's them, and then he's some Hussars also, which were coming out, and then a number of gun crews for the early period Saxon armies.
Oh, lovely mortar there. That's nice.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? So that's coming down the line. What else did I see? Oh, crikey. I'm sure there was something else. But anyway, the only one I saw, which I thought somebody pointed out on the Facebook page. By the way, if you haven't already joined the Facebook page, please do. We're 8 something or other, 889 or something at the moment. So was this, which I thought, I don't know what you folks thought about this, is a link up between.
This is what I was going to say. Yeah. So you did have it. Yeah. W.H. Smith.
Now, for those not in the UK, W.H. Smith used to be on every street corner pretty much in the UK as a news agents and sold all sorts of stuff. They've kind of passed their heyday, but they're still in a lot of
airports. They're in, aren't they?
A lot of places.
They're in airports. It's weird because they are the one place where you'd expect to go and get a magazine, wouldn't you? So, like, if you went into W.H. Smith, you'd expect to get.
I mean, that's where if you want to go and get your wargaming mag, you go and get it there.
Yeah, you know they're going to sell it. They're going to have the biggest selection probably in the country that I can think of.
So if they're going to start doing toy soldiers as well, that's interesting, isn't it? I don't know whether it wasn't very clear whether it was only online or whether they'd start offering them in the shop. But say Warlords do epic English Civil War, could you go into your local Smiths and suddenly see?
That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Like a little section of just Warlord game. I mean, it's a bit like Game, the video game shop. They do Games Workshop minis now. They do paint.
Oh, interesting.
So they do a whole range of Citadel paints in there now, and they also do figures. There's a load of figures that they sell. So
interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty interesting. I like the sound of this because for accessibility, some people can't get to a game shop because they haven't got one in their town, but they might have a W.H. Smith.
Yeah, and also I think in terms of
system or something like that, that'd be pretty cool.
or finding, if they do start selling it in shops, then sort of youngsters or what have you might get encouraged to pick up
historical
figures rather than fantasy stuff. So,
and it might trigger older war gamers that have been out of the hobby for a while, maybe 5 years or so, and they might go, "Oh yeah, that's not a bad show. God, that's cool."
Yeah, that's a good point. So I was really intrigued by that, and I think that's a really nice step. So I'll be watching that with interest, see how widely that gets picked up. We've got a couple of them around here, W.H. Smith, so I might try and nip in one and see whether they're actually.
Yeah, we got a big one in the city centre, a massive one. So they literally stock everything. So it'd be quite interesting to see. To be fair, no, it did look quite interesting that. But then you never know. Games Workshop started doing the magazine subscriptions. They've done about 4 now, haven't they? You don't know, will Warlord maybe bring out their own little mag subscription? You don't know, do you? Be interesting.
Possible.
Start a game, start a battle in, I don't know, Miller would love it, pike and shot. Build up an army over 40 weeks or something like that.
God, those things used to cost more money than they were worth, didn't they?
Yeah.
Build
a
model.
Pretty reasonable. The Games Workshop one's pretty. Yeah, the Games Workshop ones are pretty reasonable. You save about half the price than what it is retail, so it's not too bad. Did you have some stuff, Mine?
Yeah. I got some bits. Is that all your stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well,
I thought there was something else, but I can't see it anymore if it was. So.
Well, I'll go. So following. See, the thing is, I'm going to put up these crossbowmen now, and then but the crossbowmen from Reconqueror just. Anyway, so Victrix, I've got their Norman crossbowmen, which are about ready to be released, which is cool. I'm assuming these will be in a pack of 30, like the archers were. Or
are they still doing those smaller packs? They still do it.
Yeah. But not for things like crossbow. You can buy them in like warband packs. Where you get like a couple of sprues of both, don't you? I think. Or have I just
okay.
I think you're right. They do that as so you don't, because it's hard to think why you would need 30 crossbowmen.
Yeah,
it's sort of actually
for Ken Riley.
Well, obviously Ken would be just. He'd say I need 4 packs for my unit.
Yeah, from just my one unit.
So I mean, to be fair, that's just 2 units on the board, really. But yeah, so they've got those coming out.
I think they look really nice.
Yeah, no, I think they do.
I think they're going to be good value for money, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, their Norman range is awesome, and there'll be loads of options in there and ways to build them. So that's always good. Well, you guys were talking about Imperial Guard earlier, so I put this up for the GW people, just because I was intrigued by it. They released like an upgrade sprue, and I just quite like it when companies do upgrade sprues, not when they're like crazy expensive, but I just like the guy down in the bottom right. I like the sort of officer's body, and stuff like that. But loads of different heads options and that. So that's the Acadians, for people who
Lady
like
Guard
kind
in
of
there,
thing.
and female heads as well.
Yes, yeah, I like that.
I just like the full mast heads. So if you're into games, but going on with GW and the Middle Earth stuff, they have announced because they released the Battle of Osgiliath set, their new starter set, and they've released some more terrain, which is going to be useful for a lot of things. They've got this is the Gondor Mansion.
Nice.
Which is very cool. I could see that for like a Constantinople kind of style.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you know how much that is?
No, but to be fair, the plastic ones aren't that bad. Like the Rohan sets weren't that bad.
No, they're not that dear. I'd imagine it's probably 50 quid, maybe.
Which is all, but it's all
it's 2-tier, isn't it? It's 2-tier.
But yeah, it's 2-tier, all interior detailed, and you can get some. But they did show on the things how you can customize them, but also the big old tower,
that's nice.
which I just quite liked because I do like Middle Earth, and Osgiliath is one of those things which people seem to really like. So anyway, so they're coming out. Next up, you guys were talking about sort of old school miniatures. So Die Hard miniatures. I don't know if you guys have heard of these. They're currently doing some undead. Steve, I thought you might like these. They've got a very
sort
of old school.
I like that. I
we
like
say old school, but I don't think they quite. I think they've kind of got this nice sort of contemporary. I just think that it is a very good blending of styles. Basically, I really like that. So these are about to now. I can't remember if these are going on to Kickstarter or if these are going to be available. So sorry about that. But it's Die Hard miniatures. I think it is Kickstarter because this is a limited edition.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's cool.
That you can,
that's really cool.
For those of you like Undead, and
you should get him, Martin, and put him beside your knight and say before and after.
Oh, before and after. Yeah, I should do, really, shouldn't I? Really cool. And here's some of their undead champions as well. I particularly like the this is Sparta.
He needs to be in my Warlords of Erewhon warband.
Yeah, so no, there exactly. I thought you might like those. And then another thing that's came up. Now some people might have seen this. So there is another boat game. Which is emerged called Thalassa, which is the rules of which are going to be in Wargames Illustrated 421. I don't know if that's out yet or if that's coming out.
It's this one. Yeah, it's the current one.
And the rules are also free on Wargames Vault. But NG Castings have also released these mods, and so you can order them. And Sarisa and everyone, they've done this nice little set. So you've got your triremes and all of that, and your dice and everything, and you can have some battles in the Aegean.
The rowy boat game.
The rowy boat game. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's what they call it. The row.
What?
I don't know.
What's really good with the rule book? Apparently, you get the STLs for a couple of ships, so you print them yourself. Apparently.
Yeah.
Wow. I haven't seen that from Rule Systems before.
Yeah, no, it's good. So anyway, that's out there. So for any people who are sick of windy boat game and boat game with engines, then you can have a look at this one.
Does that not appeal to you then, Martin? Either?
No,
ancient sort of like ships. No,
not at all.
No,
not at all.
That's me.
No,
I like the look of that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. How much is it? Do you know?
No, you have to go on NG Casting's website to have a look. Why don't you go and have a little look? No, I think I'd play a game of it. I'd never buy it or paint it. I just nope.
That fits in my category for 3D printing, so that's quite handy.
And then this one, I thought that people might be interested in this. So this is a new Kickstarter. It's live at the minute, and it's by 2 Hour Wargames, and it's called Nuts, which is a new World War II skirmish system. And they've already got the main rule book on there, and then all the theatre books as well, like Africa, Arnhem, and all of that. Now, the thing is that I saw that was interesting about this. I mean, they're kind of advertising themselves as an alternative to Bolt Action, Chain of Command, and a bit of a different way to play. But this game has a few modes as a straight up skirmish, like 1v1, whatever, normal game mode. It also has a solo mode written into it, and a co-op wargaming mode. I have no idea how it works, so don't ask. But also one of the big ones is the ability. So Steam is campaign generation. So the two of you can fight campaigns against each other, and it's also got light RPG mechanics. So in between games, you can do things like meet civilians, sending informers out, garner local support, cut off supply lines and things like that. So this is by 2 Hour Wargames. It's currently on Kickstarter. Again, I probably should have looked at what the price is up, but for those of you who like collecting rule sets, there's also a tank. One of these rule books is for complete tank warfare. I think one of it is squad based. You have a roster. I think it could be like a tank against 10 guys kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Not an entire battalion.
Not an entire battalion. Yeah, that's but yeah, I thought that might be of interest to Steve, basically. That
looks kind of interesting.
It's quite cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it from me. Except to say, obviously, I thought I'd throw up the upcoming streams, because next week you got Dom. He's talking about upgrading your collection, which isn't going to be about retro stuff.
Not at all.
And then Steve is going to be talking about solo wargaming on the 23rd. And then I'm going to be talking about the wargaming regrets, which might include joining this podcast. No, I'm joking. But of course, it's always subject to change. Yeah, that's it for the news. It was actually quite a bit. Actually, a lot of it kind of appeared in the last few days. Because I was trying to like collect some things over Christmas, and not a lot seemed to happen in the last few days.
Didn't they, over Christmas? It seemed to actually take a proper break this year.
Yeah, funny, everything did, didn't it? I know you had to work, but I found even at my work, for the first time in ages, I remember it really, really going quiet, which was bizarre.
Mine wasn't. I was rushed off my arse the 2 days I was in. So there we go.
Oh, that's all right then.
That's fine. Can I ask my shield question now?
Go on then.
Ask away.
Okay, so as you know, I've got those War Games Atlantic.
What the fuck is gone? I don't know. His internet's died. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so I've got those War Games Atlantic. Martin, what are they? Late Romans.
Yeah.
They can be used as Romano British, right? So I've been looking at shields. Now I found that Little Big Man do a set. I want to glorify them. Will those shield transfers fit those shields in that box?
It tells you on the Little Big Men ones at the bottom what shields.
Yeah, we'll say they fit the Victrix.
Because they said the
product codes.
I mean, they look remarkably similar to the ones on the War Games Atlantic box.
Send me the measurements because I've got those shields.
Brilliant.
So just send me the measurements and I'll tell you. I mean, they are remarkably similar. I mean, I use some of the Saxon ones on Gripping Beast ones, and I mix them all up. And if they need a bit of a trim, they need a bit of a trim. But because they're like stickers, when you peel off the front, you can just fold it round and then just.
Oh right, okay, that's fine.
They are really good. It's a little big man's.
Yeah, they look good. I just don't want to invest in something and get them here and think,
and they're not going to work. Yeah,
too big. But no, I've barely looked at that box since I won it, so after I'll have a look through and see what the measurements are. But yeah, that's something I'm going to be working on for ducks because I've got the archers you sent me now. So that's going to be something a little bit left field for me.
Oh, nice.
That'd be cool. Looking forward to seeing that.
No, that's very cool. I do have some pictures from some of our lovely viewers over on the Facebook group. So if you want your images selected, be sure to get them over on the Facebook group. People have been doing a lot of stuff over the Christmas period. I've selected a few to have a little chat about. And there's been some very cool bits and bobs. So I bet they've done what I think they've done and they've moved. Yes, they have, you bastard.
If you don't do Facebook, then you can always send us on email.
Yes, you can send them. Yes, you can send them on the email. And the email is in the description below. Got it. Right. Okay, cool. So, first up, someone's done some fins that wasn't me.
Wow.
So Casper's done his Finnish army over Christmas, finished it off.
Very good.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. I think he's used some of the Warlord Games Germans. He's also used some of the Russians. So he's used some of the Russian kits because those Molotov cocktails, I believe, are from the Russian set. I don't think the Germans do a Molotov cocktail, do they, Steve? Not even in the Blitzkrieg set. I don't.
No,
I think they might. Probably in the Siberian set, isn't it? That's the.
I think they're in most Soviet sets. The Molotov cocktail, but no, you're right. There's none in any German kits now.
No. So yeah, he's done a nice bit of kit bashing there. Those vehicles, I don't know where they're from. I know I've got that resin 3D printed stuff files, but I don't think they're those. Do they make? I don't know if Warlord do those. They're transports, aren't they? They're the Finnish transports. They've got like they're tracked and they're open, so they're really quick to get on and off in real life. Obviously, I've never seen them before, and I can't remember what they're called. But no, he's done a really good job at that. Nice small squads, and yeah, really impressed by those. Next up, we've got Johnny B, who's talking about retro. He's taking it well back. He's taking it well back. He's gone back to some. I think they're the original plastics.
Yeah, they're the RTB01. I think they were called. They were the Beaky Marines.
Yeah, the Beaky Marines RTB01, and they got for the Ultramarines, which is very nice. And he's got some, I believe, Tyranids there, aren't they? So there's some nice chunky metals, and he's I think, to be fair, I looked at the Tyranid bases, and it just caught me straight away. The Goblin Green.
Yeah. Traditional.
The traditional Goblin Green base. And I just thought, that's really cool. Just thought I'd chuck it up there because obviously the retro feeling. Now, you guys will be able to help me with this because I have no idea what this is from. Right? This is Joe. He's done these. What are these?
That is the War of the Triple Alliance, I think it's called. It's Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay.
Right. Is that Paraguay or Uruguay?
That's Uruguay.
That's Uruguay. Right.
Or as better known as Steve's upcoming project.
Shut up, Dom.
Oh, are you thinking about doing these?
No, I last year I actually had a bunch of these in my basket on the Perry's website, and then I realised I had a moment of clarity and I thought, what the bloody hell are you doing? I actually saw a 15-minute documentary on YouTube about. I never knew this war actually ever happened. And it was monumentally brutal, absolutely brutal.
I mean,
it's really interesting.
There aren't many wars that aren't particularly nice, but that one was particularly nasty.
I didn't know about that war. I never knew about
it. Was three countries against one.
Yeah.
I think it was
really.
I think it was Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay against Paraguay. But it said in the documentary that Paraguay's population, that they'd lost about 10% of their entire country's population through the war, and they struggle for generations after that. Absolutely, if you can find a video about it, it's there you go. 70% of its male population was lost.
Holy shit!
300,000 soldiers and civilians.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I say, I know, like Dom said, war's brutal, but by crikey,
that's brutal. 70% of the population. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane.
And that's one of the Perry passion projects. That one, they're obsessed with that war.
But the miniatures are lovely. I think Joe's done an absolutely fantastic job on those. They look absolutely top rate. They really do.
Yeah,
they do look nice.
Beautiful.
Moving on. Andy's finished off this little project.
Wow.
Andy.
Nice.
He finished this over the Christmas period. So he's got his complete army there. Very nice after core, isn't it? Nice little Is that Panzer 2, I want to say? Or is it a Panzer 1? No, it's not Panzer 1, is it? Or is it?
Could be a 1.
It could be a 1.
It's quite difficult to see from here.
If it's
it is a 1, I think.
No, if it's dark North Africa, it's gonna be a Panzer. It could be a Panzer 2.
Yeah, I don't. No, yeah, you could be right. It's one or t'other. Let's put it that way. Yeah. It's one or t'other. But yeah, he's done a really nice job there, I think. I like the greens that he's used. Really nice. He's got his pack done at the back there as well. 2 mortars. Those mortars don't look like the Warlord ones. They look a bit different. I don't know if they're the Perry. Are these Perrys? I think these might be Perry figures, you know?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a Panzer
2. Yeah, it's a Panzer 2. Yeah, I'm not too sure where these figures are from, but they're really nice. I really like them. I think they look really cool. So moving on, Neil is done. Keeping with the Africa theme, he's done a Stuart that's been captured. He had a reference photograph for the actual Stuart that he's based this on, which I thought was really cool. And I just noticed as well, there's another machine gun which I never knew was sticking out the side there. I've only just seen it. I didn't know that was part of the thing.
What, Stuart spam? Yeah.
Yeah, they've got loads of. Oh yeah, they had loads of guns on some of the variants, didn't they?
Yeah,
loads of machine guns. 5, I think, on one of them. But yeah, no. So I quite like the Stuart. I'm not going to lie. But I like what he's done, and he's left the American sort of like, see the green, around by the tracks.
Yeah.
So he's left that, but he's done the camo obviously on top into the German colours.
No, the thing is, the weathering's brilliant as well.
Looks lovely,
really,
doesn't
really
it?
good weather.
Yeah, it does look really nice. So, and you got Matt Hunt again, another Christmas project. 9 battalions, I think he said in total for these. Jesus,
he's flying through those.
That's a lot of figures. That's a lot of figures, and that's a lot of figures. They're very similar. that is a batch paint and a half, isn't it? Wow.
Yes.
Well done, Matt. Well done indeed. Moving on to some weird shit here. This is from Peter. I saw this. It just drew my attention. And someone mentioned like glow in the dark paint, and I didn't know that was a thing. For like modelling wise, I knew you could get glow in the dark paint like kids paint, but apparently there's a range of paints now that are all glow in the dark, and you can do all this. And I thought it just looked really cool, something a bit different.
It looks like something from a 90s rave.
Very cool.
He's dumb after too many drinks.
That's fantastic. That is. I just think that's
something different in it.
I just think that paint works so well. It just gives it that sort of creepy, ethereal look. It's really good.
Yeah, it's just different, isn't it? It's different. That's why I liked it. And
why is his Blamond running off the base though? That's what I want to know.
Don't be so personal.
Paul's done some real Romans.
Oh, blimey. That's a lot of Romans.
That's a lot of Romans.
That's cool.
Isn't it? That is a lot of Romans. That is a lot of Romans. And the thing, they were all shield transferred as well, so that took some patience. That took a lot of that. That took a lot of patience. But yeah, no, they look awesome. So I can't remember. Is that one? Would that be a cohort for those guys together? Would that be classed as a cohort?
No. A cohort is 10.
10. Is it 10? 10.
Depends on your figure scale, Ken. You know.
Yeah, true. Yeah. You could have 10 individual figures. One representing.
Well, it depends if that's going to be a cohort or a sentry. Again, it depends on what scale they're playing.
Yeah.
Whether.
Yeah. So what's the sentry then, Martin? Sorry, what would that be?
80.
80.
Confusingly, it's 80. He started as 100 actually, then it became.
But then it went to 80.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough.
That's clear as mud, isn't
it? Yeah. Robin.
Oh, nice.
Some cannons.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Nice limber at the back there as well. Very nice. Got ammunition there.
I like the mud up the wheels. I think that's great.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? It looks like they've just been well used.
It's proper muddy. I like that.
Yeah, and it's the same. He's captured it on the bottom of the trousers.
Yeah, on the bottom of the leggings
as well. Yeah, I think that's really nice. The detail on there is really cool. Well done, Robin. So, Steve, Sonic Again classic. He pulled this out.
Oh, yes.
One of these proper old school.
That's a bad moon, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's very cool, though. I love it. I love them. I love the pistol. How it's so stumpy and it just screams to me 90s. And then you've got like what they called the Attila, that what they called those bloody ponytail things. What
ponytail things?
What? Oh, where he's got his hair coming out. The ponytails, but they're called something specifically in like samurai culture. Yeah, that's it.
Top knots.
Yeah.
Top knots. Yes.
Yeah.
Dealy boppers. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it just looks awesome. It's really cool. Well done, Steve. And we've got Stephen here. These, I think he's been. Yeah, they're what are they called from Age of Sigmar? The Space Marines for them. Stormcast. Yeah. Just he's put a lot of time into these. I think he might have done some airbrushing, but the colours that he's used, you can't really see hugely like the detail side of things. I'm just trying to see if I can get a better picture because he's put all 4 pictures into one. But the colours that he's used are very, very nice. Very nice indeed. And then another Stephen. He's brought back some. He said, "Weird shit. Here you go." That was, I think, it was his caption that he put, which I thought again, from Nurgle. So 40k. That's looking cool. Fiery Bully, and just 3 heads, because why not? And a drill for an arm. What do you reckon about that, Dom?
It's like something we saw in Derby, isn't it?
I'm sure. Ken was dancing with one of them.
Dom, when you getting your copy?
It's probably lost in the post. It's probably like that Hermes package. It's just sort of disappeared. It might appear at some point. Probably in the same one with my Huey helicopter.
Oh yes, of course.
Warren, he's done Conflict 47. He's pulled these out. He said this was the 15 mil stuff.
Yes,
so this was the original sort of. This was the original scale that Conflict 47 was in.
I think he mentioned before that he'd been catching up on an old episode, and I'd mentioned that they were originally meant to be big. The scale was originally 15 mil. And I just think I think it looks
really cool.
I think it looks better at 15 mil than 28. It's just something about, especially those walkers.
Yeah, those walkers look good, don't they?
Really good.
They do look really good. And even the tanks, they suit it quite well, don't they? So they do suit it very well, especially the walkers. I do like the walkers at the back, because I think in the 28 mil scale, they are big, aren't they? In 28 mil, they are massive.
I think it's because I think moving forward it's going to be permanently 28 mil now. I think there's I think from what I remember, what the open day Warlord games say that I don't know whether they own the license now, or they said there's going to be more moving forward for Conflict 47 at 28 mil though.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's good for your Conflict 47 fans. Bit of news there. And then, last but not least, Thomas. Weird shit again. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the banner.
Is absolutely fantastic. I have no.
This is Turnip at its greatest.
It is. I think this just demonstrates
how cool
why
is.
Turnip 28 is just.
That's very Blanchestu style as well, isn't it? I really like the
it's like John Blanche meets Hieronymus Bosch.
Don was just looking at that like, what the fuck is going on there? It's a fish.
It's a bombard. It's a cannon.
But it's a fishy cannon.
It's a big fish cannon.
I love the spire at the top. Look at the crow's nest. Look at that. Look how cool that is. Cool.
I'm just thinking to myself, thank goodness Ken only does this one once every 4 weeks.
Man, that is awesome. I'm sorry, but that is good. And do you notice how he's got the cannon and then you've got a dice with a 1 on it? in the picture. Rolling a 1.
There's so much going on there. It's yes. So Joe's confirmed Warlord now own it a few months back. Yeah, I thought I hadn't made that up.
Why has it gone quiet?
We lost him. Has he dropped off? We lost him. Oh, he's frozen.
What the fuck is that?
Has he had a season?
That is going on Facebook.
That's a caption. That's a caption competition, right?
Everyone. That was wow.
That is class, isn't it?
Wow. Well, that brings us. I guess
that seems like a perfect point.
Andy's gone.
Andy's gone. There we go. I can't believe I've just spent the last 15 minutes painting nails. I don't mean like giant fingernails. 15 minutes painting fingernails. Certainly a new one on me. This is a fantastic model. It really is so just bizarre and big. And if you ever get a chance to paint one, do it, because they're a lot of fun.
I've actually got one in the stash back there, and because I thought at one point I really want to do that model, because it was they were selling off. I can't remember, Mantic was selling it in a special deal, and it was really cheap. And I thought everyone said how good a model it was.
The one I got, it comes with it's called the Damsel in Distress set, and I got some weird like stones, like stone tablet things. But it's a great thing you can put on a base, and it's a dead horse and a dead dude on a base. So I'm thinking of mounting that on the base when I actually find a base.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really good. But when I opened it, I was just like, what? It was just huge. The arm, I mean, that arm there that's holding the branch, it's absolutely massive.
It's enormous, isn't it?
It's cool. Have you seen it? Because they released it's not quite undead. It's like a nightmare version of it as well, isn't there? And they released there's a frost version of it as well, like a frost giant version. I've painted loads and loads of pikemen tonight for this Kickstarter preview that I'm doing for this thing, and I've still got about 50 to do. So it's
lovely.
It's going so.
German coalition troops for the Boxer Rebellion. I'm doing just for a change.
Have you seen that Crusader had a load of boxes stuff?
Yes.
I didn't know if that was new or if that was just like a restock or something.
I think we talked about it a few months ago now. They were talking about coming out, but they're actually up on sale now. So you can buy boxers and Japanese, I believe. Yeah,
somebody tagged me in a post on Twitter about them because they knew that you've got a slight fixation with them, and you a little bit, and he wanted to know whether you'd come across them or not.
Yeah, I saw them. Actually, talking about it this week. This coming weekend, North Star are doing a discount £1 a figure on a number of their cobblestone and various other figures. If you're into them. Some of the weirdest shit. So, but yeah, they've got some lovely stuff. I do love a North Star figure.
Ken, my internet just cut out. That's brilliant. Good. We'll keep that. Make sure that just stays up. So next week is you, Dom, isn't it?
It is me. Yep. I will try and freezing quite like that. But yes, looking forward to it.
What's this there on the bottom? Will I do a video about how I painted my black guard? If enough people want me to, then yes, I will. I'm doing a video at the moment on those Reconquer knights, so I'll do. I suppose I could do one. It's pretty straightforward, so why not? Yeah, why not?
Awesome.
Speaking of painting things, I know people have asked me to do about a DAC infantry one. That's in the pipeline. I'm just currently working out how to film it because I'm crap at making video tutorials, but I will get round to it eventually.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, I think then we'll better wrap up since we're overrun and the host has run off. Have an awesome week, everybody. We'll
base your models however you want.
Yeah. And
we're going to go and slap him now through Messenger.
Jesus.
Cromwell's going to get a kick him.
Can we just wrap up how we wrapped up the Christmas one about Ken? What's the matter?
Absolutely. But I'm feeling well disposed towards him at the start of the new year.
Awesome. Right, folks. See you next week on my channel. Have a good week. See you then.
Take care, everyone.
See you, everyone. Take care.
Bye.